Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are doing really well. My name's Eva, and I want to thank you for joining me. This video this morning is inspired by a couple different things. It wasn't going to be focused on the throat, but now I'm feeling a lot of that kind of come out. A lot behind this sort of like soft, hard palate area, maybe a lot in your sinuses, if that resonates with you. But the intention of this video is healing deep mother wounds, mother archetypes, really dark stuff, nasty shit. Excuse my French. I have been having horrible dreams about my own relationship with my mother and the sort of lineage that these women have come from, and sort of the darkness that is participated with, and it's when we get to healing really deep levels, it's less about individuals as it is about currents and archetypes and just like massive running paradigms of belief structure and manipulation and control and negation and just feeling really bad and fighting and just nastiness, like nasty, nasty, nasty. So this is for nastiness in the mother lineage and manipulation, control, negation. I mean, I said those things already, but this is the foundation of what this feels like. And that it'll also be for just the dream space in general and kind of clearing that kind of collective astral space that dreams can take place in many different realms, many different realms. But I think right now we are really clearing this sort of superimposed false astral. I mean, people have been saying this for years, but I think this is happening at like a much different level now because we're seeing so much of it come into like physical reality. So a lot of deep ancestral stuff that's coming up to be cleared. So it's not just about your individual incarnation, it's about your entire lineage, your entire genetic record that you're carrying, and that we heal as one or not at all. There are not special people who are doing this. Everyone is doing this. It is up to you the level at which you will take responsibility and awareness of it. But this is happening. This is how healing and revelation works. It doesn't work differently for some people. It's just a matter of what you are paying attention to and what you will claim for yourself. So let's get into it. It's coming down much, much further into the throat expression area than I thought. I thought it was going to be a lot in the heart space, but it's a lot in this area. You might feel it. So presentation of yourself. If we feel very negated when we're young, knowing who we are is very difficult, who we're meant to be in this lifetime. And then, what you talk about with other people, what you share of yourself, what you bring forward through you, how you communicate, all of those things change, as you establish a sovereignty of self and what that really means, So we open to spirit to show us what that means. So you might notice sort of grandmother lineages coming. This for me is showing up very much in the maternal line, but this could be in your paternal lineage and the matriarchs on that side as well. Take this how it resonates for you and what you notice and what you know that you are working through. It could also be I'm feeling led to say, like, if you don't feel like this is resonant for your own incarnation, what you are kind of drawn to by way of myth or fiction or, stories being told that you feel for some reason like very resonant with, you can use that as a guide too of what you might be working out. It doesn't have to be like in the relationships with people in other people's bodies. When we move into higher levels of expansion and awareness, we see that that's like just a little tiny part of what we are, is what is embodied, and it doesn't end at the limits of your skin. Kimayon notoni panishin za tosum jarandrai sotosum shak. Kimianiento sondor kini tiso konoshin santrayen sotikani himda kono umsharato senso itayin shari kinimian nion toro. Atroato sum sakanandrai himnatu hium datikana inchataya sini ani kini ani. So if we're talking about really low dimensional stuff here, clearing from the underworld, or the shadowlands, or however you resonate, we're clearing curses, we're clearing black magic. Not everyone resonates with those words, but if you do, and sometimes we might not like feel that very strongly in our incarnation, but we feel it resonates in some kind of way, just go with it. Let it be revealed and removed. Remember, this is not where our identity lies, and so we are proclaiming the false as false. Everything in this world is a dream. It's all illusion. Even the symbols for love are symbols. And while this gets brought up a lot, but while we cling to the reality of the false, we will not embody the truth. Don't be afraid to let those stories go. So much of our identity is based in suffering. This need not be. But while you believe it must be, it will be for you, but it need not be. And does this mean that you might have to make choices in your physical life of walking away from certain things, or not pleasing the egos or serving the egos of certain individuals? Yes. If you are taught that love is sacrifice, that will be very difficult for you. Spirit is asking us to understand that love asks for no sacrifice, and we are not here to serve ego. Kimianda konondi yamashina. Tita konondo aritio sokoshini disnam drihin. Yarikianatus. Because you might have a purpose that you're not quite walking in because you are serving ego. You're serving your own ego. You're serving other people's ego. You have ideas of sacrifice that are misaligned with spirit vision. Love does not ask for sacrifice. Kini andratis natis. But we go back to the teaching of the unreal, right? If you believe the unreal is real, then it will seem like a sacrifice to you to give it up. But if you believe that the ego is nothing, is not real, then it is nothing to give up. And it's nothing to give up the connection to other people's egos. But we can't be mistaken in, if you're really walking in this path of unity consciousness, that you have to be willing to uncover and abandon everything that you used to believe about yourself. Everything. It's a complete reversal of thought. The thought system of the physical world, of the world, the realm that we find ourselves in, is reversed from unity, is a negation of unity, is a refusal, is an attack on unity. And it is an attack. It is negative. It is not neutral. We must practice the neutrality of the compassionate witness to dissolve these structures. And so you might come up and then all of these emotions about captivity and slavery and negation and manipulation and being caged and not being able to express and having to participate in structures you don't agree with. Lots of emotions come up for that. You got to let that come up, but you got to let that go also. You can't cling to the opposition. And this is, I think, coming in the throat because it is coming up as like a fighting, like an oppositional adversarial energy that we just don't want to participate in anymore. If other people's egos want to participate, you don't have to. It doesn't mean that you have to. It doesn't matter who they are. You do not serve the ego. Kantrakum jarin zaritis. And if other people's egos aren't okay with that, which they won't be, then you brush off your sandals and you go elsewhere, yes? Simisanandratis. You don't force people to believe what you believe. That's also negation of their will. If their free choice is to see from their ego, is to see from limitation and fear, you cannot change that. You can only choose for yourself and choose to see the light of the truth in them. See through their illusion of themselves into the light of the truth. See that they are just choosing an illusion. But you don't want to participate with choosing an illusion, so you choose elsewhere. You choose differently. That's always your power. Your power is not to make other people choose differently. If people are inspired by your choosing and the peace that it brings for your life, then they are in witness to your peace and love, and that inspires them to choose differently, then that is. But that is a happy byproduct. That's not, your goal is not to make other people choose in certain ways. It is to recognize and take responsibility for your own choosing. And you don't need approval of other people. You don't. And dismantling that belief will bring up belief in darkness and will bring up fear. Be brave, walk straight through it. Mianako rumdis natranis. Kinandati mondiriti, kindi kini. Satru kormintisnin duyoni pintraya konotor konaya ta. Sondo imashni. Sonzonindrihyaya kamdara konoyinchanindritis. See clearly through manipulation. Kimian sokorika nandrakina sunjiritis yakanatratis. But then be neutral about it, right? If we have history of abuse from manipulation and coercion and gaslighting and veil being pulled over the eyes and like reversal in the sense of like things being done under the guise of love which are not, you can get a fine-tuned antenna for that. And that can then bring up a lot. And then you'll probably go through a phase where that antenna is bringing up all of the wounds to heal. So you will be, you'll be very resistant when that antenna perks up and you notice manipulation in the field and people. Sometimes most people are doing this very unconsciously. Most people are not out to manipulate others as I see it. They're doing it through very unconscious patterning and false teachings about what love is. So, a lot of that is from religion, a lot of false like false control religions, violence religion, which is all of them. Cultural teachings and stuff like this. So, understand this kind of happens in phases, but as it's coming up through, this resistance is activating still this very egoic program of adversarial energy, of us versus them, or self-righteousness to protect the self. Defense and attack, right? We talk about this a lot. It's going to bring up a lot of that participation and wounds in that defense and attack programming structure. So that's your work to see in neutrality where that's coming up in you, to let those, let participation in that go. Hinandratis inishitis, because if you're still participating in those narratives, you're keeping those wounds open and you're pouring salt right in them. And none of this is to feel judgment, to judge yourself for any of this. That's not part of this work. Everyone on earth is participating in these structures. You wouldn't hold to this physical reality without participation in it. And so that is ascension as I see it. If you are embodying more and more unity, it changes the form, and the form expands, and the form is then different to accommodate a different level of consciousness, right? And so that is the work That is the purpose of everyone's life, whether or not they are claiming that purpose for themselves at this juncture. Whether they are doing that or not is not your business. It is your choice for how you see this for yourself, to be in peace and to then offer that peace. Because you can't offer peace unless you are at peace. And if you're participating with divide and conquer, if you're participating with attack and defense, you're not at peace. The goal is peace. But if you're putting yourself at a level that is less important than other people's desires, that's not peace either. That's not unity. That's not equality. That's not claiming Christ for yourself. That's not claiming your worthiness to live. Shanikanandri ia konoma o sonjo kono isa in sonashon sokoro ite kinati yaturum nayan chata sato sonjakina timindri komandri ani amorondo shumdakinat sato shini tias nendri kayana or konatra yaptu sonjo koni insani indi kintatu nutru or kintatruat husha Horomayani kananjoro damna kanandri insa. Ikoyo konota jiritin sanin kanian zinziri ieshangoro koni bayo konot. Andra kanashinsi. Ikoyo mo rim takunoyun chokonit. Sayun. Shinsan sayun. Oh. Okay. Rokama sanzakina tisana. Wah. Yanya shanayan sanato nam nayas natrayan inam nikanatum morum. Kiti kana in joto konatin son chatis nandrikana sakaratis and charikanika andrat. Ito kor konosham zatri kan sikishi nison zodite aishoyo koruko diet. Yanun ta kani shanayan sandati kanatis. Atru un hyakuno tapaya kono orugini. Hayo shuno kono inam natri kansi kaya tonoin. Ini toyo morum nis nanrayatina. O shinindri. Allowing forgiveness to move through you. Shatro tosum shikinindritis. Forgiveness for all. Forgiveness for the self. Forgiveness for all parts of self. Kium gorgonis natratis kancha. Kayas nundu kamasin. Bistaturu konum shanika sika. Saki aikum. Kyo. Zoitie pusho konum nis. Sita inam dakuno. Kona nisom santa union. Yatu ka. Whew. We're certainly balancing the poles. But it did feel a lot like when we started, there was this like, I don't mean this literally, because this is all representational in this realm, but attachment in this area, again, in the back of this soft palate. And this work is exorcism, right? In many ways. So we expel. We expel it, and in our recognition of its unreality, is it undone. It's not like exorcisms or this kind of work is not adversarial. When we take the perception of spirit as our own, spirit sees only the truth. So in our projection of Christ vision or spirit vision, is the healed state seen? And in our seeing of it, is it real? So it is, right? So you can't serve two masters. Two thought systems cannot be projected at once. So if you are abandoning the projection of the false, that expels it from your field. That expels it from your awareness. You refuse it. You refuse to see it as true. And so you refuse to participate. And so then it has nothing to cling to in you. So it must move. But that's not in a combative stance. It won't release if you continue to participate in the combative stance. This is an important distinction. It's not like about right or wrong. It's not like I'm right and this is wrong. And so like it has to it's not about that. You can't be participating in those things. It's a neutrality, understanding that is a loving stance, because it's not participating at all with the false. Excuse me, but down in this realm, in this physicality, as I said before, that kind of spirit vision changes the form. And so because we are embodied, our consciousness is embodied in this form, we experience the change as it's happening, and we orchestrate the change when we allow spirit to move through us. So one with spirit, we orchestrate the change through the code. So I think I'm going to stop there because that was quite intense. So I hope that was helpful to you. I would love to hear in the comments what you felt move through, because that was quite an intense expelling of the false from us structurally. And if you feel called to come back and share in a couple days, or even yesterday I did a live stream, and then a couple hours later I noticed very strongly the themes that we were working through come through in a clarity of my own field mechanisms that was quite piercing, which then unravels it from you. So I would love to hear from you guys if you want to share. Other things. If you sign up for my newsletter, you will get updates on when new trance meditations come out. They come out once a week. You can also subscribe to them to get all of them at like a lower price a month. And that also comes with a monthly group session, which would be really cool, to kind of have like a monthly hangout where we ask questions and we, respond to intentions with the code and things like that, and just a space to connect in a world that is really rapidly falling apart. It could be a nice sort of meeting of a home frequency, home in spirit. So you can sign up for that below. All the links to work together are below. One-on-one sessions, personalized trance recordings, written guidance, very powerful. All of that's below. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.